You're about to learn the skill that separates people who control their lives from people whose lives control them. Street smarts isn't luck, instinct, or attitude. It's the power to delay your impulses long enough to make decisions that actually move you forward. Every moment you hesitate, every reaction you delay, every impulse you override, you build leverage. Real leverage. The kind that compounds over years, not minutes. In this audiobook, you're going to learn how to outsmart your impulses before they outsmart you. And if you commit to this process, your life will never run on autopilot again. Chapter 1. Stop acting fast and start thinking long. You lose your future in moments. Not years. Not decades. Moments. Moments when you react too fast. Moments when you speak without thinking. Moments when you chase what feels good now instead of what builds power later. And that's the truth you need to face right here at the start of this journey. Your impulses are faster than your intentions. And if you don't slow them down, they'll run your life for you. Because the fastest way to destroy your long-term future is to make decisions based on the next 5 minutes. 5 minutes of anger. 5 minutes of craving. 5 minutes of pressure. 5 minutes of ego. People don't ruin their futures because they're stupid. They ruin their futures because they're fast. Too fast. They react before they think. They choose relief instead of strategy. They choose impulse over intention. And every time they do, the cost is bigger than the moment they acted in. You've done it. I've done it. Everyone has. But the difference between people who grow and people who repeat their mistakes is simple. Some people learn to pause. That's the key. That's the entire shift. That's the real street smarts most people never develop. Let me give you something that can change your life immediately, the concept that will echo through every chapter that follows. The pause principle. The pause principle is the ability to create a 3-second gap between the impulse and the action. Just 3 seconds. That's all. But those 3 seconds are the difference between a reckless reaction and a strategic move. Between saying something you regret and saying something that builds trust. Between spending money out of emotion and spending money with intention. Between quitting because it's uncomfortable and staying with it because it matters. 3 seconds. That's your window of power. Because here's the truth. Your impulses don't want you to think. They want you to react. They want you to chase relief. They want you to satisfy an emotion. But your future, your real future, wants you to pause. Wants you to observe. Wants you to choose. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And the pause principle gives it back to you. Think about the people you've seen lose big opportunities because they acted too fast. Someone fired off a rude message because they felt disrespected. Someone quit a job on impulse because they had one bad day. Someone jumped into a relationship because it felt exciting, then found out later they weren't choosing a partner. They were choosing a distraction. Someone bought something they didn't need because the feeling of wanting it was louder than the logic telling them to wait. Short-term relief. Long-term consequences. And the pattern is the same every time. Act fast. Pay slow. I've seen people throw away years of progress because they couldn't control 5 minutes of emotion. And you've seen it too. You might have lived it. And that's exactly why you're here. Because you're ready to stop repeating the cycle. You're ready to stop being controlled by the moment. You're ready to be street smart. And street smarts, real street smarts, is the ability to think long when everyone else is thinking short. You don't need to be the smartest person. You don't need to have the most talent. You don't need to have the best background. You just need to stop acting fast. Let me make this even clearer. Every quick reaction is a trap. Every pause is power. Say that to yourself. Repeat it. Let it sink in. Because the world rewards patience, strategy, and emotional control. But it punishes impulsiveness, desperation, and short-term thinking. You have 2 versions of yourself inside you. The short-term self who wants comfort, and the long-term self who wants success. Every time you choose the impulse, you strengthen the short-term self. Every time you pause, you strengthen the long-term self. And the long-term self is the version of you that wins. The version of you that builds. The version of you that grows. Long-term thinking is a skill. Long-term thinking is a discipline. Long-term thinking is what separates the stable from the chaotic, the deliberate from the reactive, the powerful from the powerless. When you pause, you give yourself a chance to ask real questions. Does this decision help my future? Am I reacting or choosing? Is this emotion telling the truth or just shouting loudly? Will I still want this choice tomorrow? Questions slow you down. Slowing down gives you clarity, and clarity gives you strength. Let me tell you a quick story. A young man once told me he ruined a 5-year relationship in less than 20 seconds. He got annoyed at his partner over something trivial, reacted instantly, said something cruel, walked out to prove a point, and came back to find the trust shattered. Not because he meant to destroy it, but because he reacted faster than he thought. He told me, if I had paused for even 2 seconds, none of that would have happened. He was right, because that's all it would have taken. Another example, a woman who spent thousands of dollars she didn't have, not because she needed anything, but because she was using shopping to numb stress. 5 minutes of impulse. 18 months of debt. Again, act fast. Pay slow. You're not immune. I'm not immune. Nobody is immune. But you can become aware. You can become deliberate. You can become someone who doesn't answer to impulse, but uses it as a signal to pause. That's the key. A pause is not weakness. A pause is not hesitation. A pause is intelligence. A pause is you stepping out of the moment and into your future. So here's your first assignment, the first real behavior shift of this audiobook. For the next 24 hours, every time you feel an urge, pause. Just pause. 3 seconds. No reaction. No response. No decision. 3 seconds. You'll be shocked at how much clarity shows up when you stop giving every emotion instant permission. Because you don't need their permission. You don't need your impulses' permission. You don't need the moment's permission. You only need your intention. This chapter is the foundation. Everything else builds from here. Control the moment and you control the direction. Control the reaction and you control the result. Control the impulse and you control the future. Now that you've learned the power of slowing down, it's time to understand something deeper, something crucial to staying in control. Your impulses lie to you. And in the next chapter, we're going to expose those lies. Chapter 2, your impulses lie to you. Your impulses sound confident. They sound convincing. They sound urgent. But they are liars. Every single one of them. And until you understand that, you'll keep making decisions that feel right in the moment and feel wrong for the rest of your life. Your impulses don't show you the truth. They show you the shortcut. They show you the escape. They show you whatever gets you out of discomfort the fastest. That's not clarity. That's not strategy. That's not strength. That's emotional convenience pretending to be wisdom. And this chapter is about exposing that lie. Because your impulses will tell you, you need this. You deserve this. You have to respond right now. You can't wait. You'll miss your chance. But here is the phrase you're going to hear over and over in this chapter, because it's the core lesson you must internalize if you want real power. Just because it feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. Say it out loud if you need to. Say it again. Let it sink in. Because urgency is the weapon your impulses use to control you. Let's break this down clearly. Impulses masquerade as needs. They pretend to be survival instincts. But most impulses have nothing to do with survival and everything to do with emotional relief. You think the impulse is guiding you, but really it's avoiding something. Avoiding discomfort. Avoiding patience. Avoiding discipline. Avoiding the long term. Your impulses lie to you because they want you to skip the part where you think. And thinking is where your strength is. Let's talk about the 3 major areas where impulsive lies ruin people's lives. Money, relationships, and career decisions. 1. Financial impulses. Money is one of the first places where impulses create chaos. You feel stressed, so you spend. You feel bored, so you buy. You feel insecure, so you purchase something to make yourself feel enough for a moment. The impulse tells you, you need it now. You worked hard, treat yourself. You'll feel better after. But again, just because it feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. I've watched people work for months to save, only to blow it in minutes because an impulse told them the feeling was more important than the plan. That's the lie. The lie that emotion deserves priority over strategy. The lie that a temporary high has more value than long-term freedom. Your financial life is a scoreboard of how well you control your impulses. not how much you earn, how much you control. Because the truth is simple, you're only as rich as your ability to delay gratification. A financially impulsive person is a financially trapped person. A financially patient person is a financially free person. That's the blueprint. That's the discipline. That's the truth your impulses don't want you to hear. 2. Relationship impulses. Relationships are another battlefield for impulsive lies. When you feel lonely, you chase connection that isn't healthy. When you feel insecure, you cling to people who don't treat you well. When you feel disrespected, you react with anger instead of communication. Your impulses tell you, say something now. Fix it now. Prove your point now. Don't let them get away with that. And again, just because it feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. I've seen relationships break because one person reacted faster than they thought. I've seen people stay in the wrong relationship because they were scared to sit with loneliness for 3 weeks. I've seen people choose partners out of boredom, not compatibility. Impulses create intensity. Intensity masquerades as connection. But connection built on impulse is not connection at all. It's emotional dependency disguised as love. It's not healthy. It's not stable. It's not long-term. Healthy relationships require clarity. Clarity requires time. Time requires control. And control requires understanding your impulses and knowing when they're lying to you. 3. Career and life decisions. Then there's your career, the space where impulsive decisions can cost you years. Some people quit too fast. Some people commit too fast. Some people react too fast. Some people burn bridges too fast. You've seen it. Maybe you've lived it. Someone has a bad day at work and suddenly thinks their entire career is doomed. Someone gets corrected once and reacts as if they've been attacked. Someone gets a new idea and abandons everything they've been building. Impulses tell you, you need change now. You need action now. You need results now. But the truth? Just because it feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. Great careers are built on patience, consistency, and long-term thinking, not emotional reactivity. Your impulses want excitement. Your future wants direction. And the direction always wins. Always. That's why street-smart thinkers don't act on emotional urgency. They observe the urge. They analyze the urge. They wait for the real priority to reveal itself. Impulses rush you. Wisdom slows you. And slowing down is how you start winning. Impulses are emotional shortcuts. Let's zoom out. Impulses are shortcuts your mind uses to avoid effort. Thinking takes work. Planning takes effort. Patience requires strength. But impulses? They're easy. They're fast. They're seductive. Your impulses want you to avoid the discomfort that builds your future. But growth requires discomfort. Discipline requires discomfort. Long-term thinking requires discomfort. So what do your impulses do? They lie to you. They tell you the discomfort is danger. They tell you the inconvenience is threat. They tell you the patience is unnecessary. But listen closely. Your impulses aren't protecting you. They're limiting you. And every time you fall for their urgency, you shrink. Your potential shrinks. Your options shrink. Your power shrinks. This chapter is about waking up to the fact that your impulses have no authority. They are not commands. They are not instructions. They are not truths. They are noise. They are patterns. They are habits. And you can break them. Your job is simple. When something feels urgent, pause. When something feels overwhelming, pause. When something feels like you must do it right now, pause. Because urgency is almost always emotion. And emotion is rarely strategy. And strategy is what builds your life. Remember the mantra. Just because it feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. Say it again. Say it until it becomes instinct. Say it until it becomes your new identity. You're building a long-term mind now. You're building a strategic mind. You're building a street-smart mind. And once you learn that your impulses lie, you unlock the next skill, replacing those lies with power. Which brings us to the next chapter, where you build the discipline that transforms everything. Chapter 3, Build the Delay Muscle. Discipline is not talent. Discipline is not genetics. Discipline is not motivation. Discipline is repetition. Pure repetition. And repetition doesn't care how you feel. Repetition doesn't need your mood. Repetition doesn't need your inspiration. Repetition only needs your commitment. That's what you're here to learn. Discipline is a muscle, and like every muscle, it grows when you work it, even when you don't want to. Especially when you don't want to. People romanticize discipline. They think it's a personality trait. They think it's a gift. They think some people are built different. But here's the truth. Nobody is naturally disciplined. People become disciplined because they practice delaying what they want. That's the foundation. That's the skill. That's the transformation. And today you're going to start building that skill deliberately, intentionally, and powerfully. Let's start with a simple principle you need to memorize. Every delay, no matter how small, is an act of long-term self-respect. Say it again. Say it slowly. Let it land. Because every time you delay an impulse, you're telling your mind one thing: I decide, not the moment. And when you repeat that message enough times, your brain rewires itself around discipline rather than impulse. This chapter is about how to build that muscle, how to make it strong, how to make it automatic, how to make it part of your identity. And it all begins with something incredibly simple: micro-delays. The power of micro-delays. People think discipline starts with big decisions. It doesn't. Discipline starts with tiny decisions that you repeat over and over until your brain learns a new pattern. Micro-delays are exactly that: small moments where you pause before you act. Little gaps. Tiny interruptions. Seconds that seem insignificant but actually reprogram your neural pathways. A micro-delay can be waiting 60 seconds before you respond to a message, waiting 10 seconds before you reach for your phone, waiting 30 seconds before you grab a snack, waiting 5 seconds before you speak when you're annoyed, waiting 3 seconds before making a reaction-based decision. These small delays are the reps. These small delays are the workout. These small delays are the foundation of discipline. Because here's what you're teaching your brain: we don't act without intention. You're building a pattern. You're building conditioning. You're building self-control through tiny, repeatable steps. And remember, repetition doesn't require motivation. You don't need to feel inspired. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel ready. Repetition asks for one thing: do it again. Do it again even when you're tired. Do it again even when you're annoyed. Do it again even when you don't see results. Do it again when your impulses scream for attention. That's how your brain rewires. That's how discipline becomes who you are. Why micro-delays work. Your brain is a prediction machine. It follows patterns. It looks for shortcuts. It repeats behaviors that feel familiar. When you act instantly, your brain learns impulse equals action. Feeling equals reaction. Emotion equals command. But when you start inserting micro-delays, your brain learns something new. Impulse equals pause. Feeling equals wait. Emotion equals observe. Decision equals intentional. Those tiny pauses literally change the structure of your brain over time. You're building neural pathways that are stronger than your impulses. You're building a mind that operates on patience instead of urgency. This is not theory. This is not abstract. This is neuroscience, and it is simple, powerful, and accessible to anyone who is willing to practice. Let me give you examples of how micro-delays change real life. Real-world examples. 1. The 60-second delay before responding. Someone sends you a message that annoys you. Your impulse wants to fire back instantly. You feel the urgency. You feel the heat. You feel the emotion. Your old self reacts. Your new self delays. You wait 60 seconds. You breathe. You think. And suddenly the urgency disappears. What felt like a crisis becomes nothing. What felt like a threat becomes a misunderstanding. What felt like disrespect becomes a minor moment you can handle strategically. You didn't lose control. You didn't feed the fire. You respected your future. That's long-term thinking. That's discipline. That's self-respect. 2. The 30-second delay before snacking or spending. You walk past something you want, food, a drink, something to buy. You feel the urge. Feels like a need. But it's not a need. It's an impulse pretending to be a need. You delay 30 seconds. The craving loses its strength. The urgency dissolves. Your logic takes over. You don't need to say no forever. You only need to say wait. And wait is enough to break the spell. This is how people lose weight. This is how people stop overspending. This is how people regain control of their habits. One delay at a time. 3. The 3-second delay before you speak. This one changes relationships, careers, and reputations. Someone says something that triggers you. Your impulse wants to snap. Your impulse wants to win. Your impulse wants to attack. You pause for 3 seconds. Just 3. You breathe. You think. You choose your words. And you walk away from unnecessary conflict. And you avoid damaging your relationships. And you avoid becoming someone you don't respect. 3 seconds. That's all. Every delay is self-respect. Here's the core truth you need to hammer into your identity. Every delay is an act of long-term self-respect. Every delay says, I matter. Every delay says, my future matters. Every delay says, I choose discipline over impulse. Every delay says, I am not controlled. And when you repeat that message enough times, you'll start feeling something powerful. Pride, confidence, control, stability, strength. Not the fake strength of pretending to be tough. Not the fragile strength of reacting quickly. But the real strength of choosing your response. Discipline isn't built in dramatic moments. Discipline is built in boring moments. In tiny moments. In repetitive moments. Anyone can act strong once. But disciplined people act strong every day through small, deliberate delays. The mindset shift. Here's the mindset shift you need. Motivation is optional. Repetition is mandatory. If you rely on motivation, you will fail. If you rely on repetition, you will win. Motivation comes and goes. Repetition stays. Repetition is reliable. Repetition is stable. Repetition is the real engine of discipline. You want discipline? Do the delay. Do the delay again. Do the delay again tomorrow. Do the delay until it becomes automatic. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be consistent. That's the goal. That's the formula. That's the path. You're building the delay muscle now. That muscle will change everything. That muscle will give you power over your impulses. That muscle will give you freedom from urgency. That muscle will give you control over your decisions. And once you can delay, you can observe. Once you can observe, you can analyze. Once you can analyze, you can read the game. And reading the game is the next step to being street smart. So let's go deeper. You've learned how to pause. You've learned how to delay. Now it's time to learn how to see everything. Chapter 4. Learn to read the game before you play it. Before you make a move, you must learn to read the room. Before you enter a situation, you must learn to observe it. Before you speak, commit, react, or decide, you must understand the game you're stepping into. This is what street-smart thinkers do effortlessly. They don't rush in. They don't assume. They don't guess. They watch. And that's the habit most people never develop, because most people are addicted to reacting. They want to jump in. They want to respond instantly. They want to feel involved. They want to feel like they're doing something. But here's the truth you need to burn into your mind. Smart people react last. Say it again. Let it sink in. Smart people react last. They react after they gather information. They react after they understand the dynamics. They react after they see everyone else's move. They react when the impulsive people have already exposed their weaknesses. This chapter is about teaching you that skill, the skill of reading the game before you play it. Because when you learn to observe first, you stop walking into situations blind. You stop getting manipulated. You stop getting surprised. You stop volunteering information that hurts you. You stop revealing your intentions before you understand what's really happening. And most importantly, you stop acting on impulse. Observation is the first form of power. Let's get something straight. You don't get smarter by rushing. You don't get stronger by reacting. You get both by watching. Observation gives you leverage. It gives you insight. It gives you control. Reacting gives you none of that. Reacting gives you stress, confusion, and regret. The street-smart person walks into a room quietly, not timidly, quietly. There's a difference. Quiet means intentional. Quiet means aware. Quiet means focused. They're reading everything. They're studying everyone. They're understanding the game before they enter it. They notice who's talking the loudest, who's listening the closest, who's leading without saying a word, who's insecure and compensating, who's confident and relaxed, who's trying too hard, who's testing the waters, who's watching them. Observation is power, and it's a skill you must practice. You have a choice: walk into every situation blind, or walk in with information. And information always wins. Scenario 1. Negotiations. Let's start with negotiation, whether it's for a job, a car, a business deal, or even a simple disagreement. Most people lose negotiations before they even begin. Not because they're wrong, not because they're unprepared, but because they react too fast. The impulsive person speaks first. The impulsive person reveals their position. The impulsive person shows their emotions. The impulsive person gets pulled into the other party's frame. The street-smart person watches first. They observe tone. They observe body language. They observe what the other side avoids mentioning. They observe what they emphasize too much. They observe what they don't want you to notice. And here's the rule: the person who talks the least gathers the most information. Street-smart negotiators let silence do the work. They let the other party fill the space. They let the other person reveal their intentions. Then and only then do they respond. Because remember, smart people react last. Scenario 2. Social dynamics. Now let's talk about social situations, because impulsive reactions don't just ruin negotiations. They ruin relationships, friendships, reputations, and opportunities. Walk into any social environment and you'll see two types of people. 1. The reactive person. They try to impress. They talk too much. They overshare. They dominate conversations without understanding the vibe. They burn energy trying to fit in. 2. The observant person. They don't jump in immediately. They feel the energy in the room. They watch how people respond to each other. They understand who is genuine, who is insecure, who is trustworthy, who is not. The observant person becomes the center of gravity, not because they force it, but because they carry clarity. They're not reacting, they're choosing. They're not performing, they're analyzing. People trust them more. People respect them more. People listen when they speak. What? Because they don't talk out of impulse. They talk out of intention. Smart people react last. Scenario 3. Business and decision making. In business, reacting too fast is the fastest way to lose money, lose credibility, and lose direction. Most business mistakes happen because someone acted before they understood the situation. They rushed into a partnership without vetting. They launched a product without research. They hired someone without observing their real character. They changed course because of temporary emotion. All impulse, no strategy. The street-smart thinker does the opposite. They learn before they leap. They ask questions. They take notes. They listen more than they speak. They understand the landscape before they make their move. They're not slow. They're precise. They don't hesitate. They evaluate. They don't guess. They gather data. And by the time they make a decision, they're already playing a different game than everyone else, because they know things the impulsive players missed. Smart people react last. Observation saves you from unnecessary pain. Let me tell you something that will save you years of stress. Most of the pain in your life didn't come from what people did to you, it came from what you failed to observe. You trusted too fast. You invested too fast. You reacted too fast. You committed too fast. You defended people who didn't deserve it too fast. You opened up to people you didn't know too fast. And every time you paid the price. But observation solves that. Observation protects you. Observation gives you clarity. Observation makes you powerful enough to see the game before you step into it. Smart people react last. The habit of watching first. Here's the habit you're going to start practicing today. Wherever you go, pause and observe. Before you speak, pause and observe. Before you decide, pause and observe. Before you assume, pause and observe. You don't need to be paranoid. You don't need to be anxious. You don't need to overthink. You just need to watch. Watch the environment. Watch the energy. Watch the intentions. Watch the dynamics. Watch the details. Let everyone else rush. Let everyone else react. Let everyone else reveal themselves. You're playing a smarter game now. You've learned how to observe. You've learned how to slow down. You've learned how to react last. Now it's time to learn something deeper. How to control what drives those reactions in the first place. Because discipline isn't just about slowing down, it's about controlling your internal energy so the world can't control you. So now we go to the next stage. Chapter 5. Don't chase energy, control it. Most people think success comes from excitement. They think it comes from feeling motivated. They think it comes from being on fire. That's a lie. A seductive, dangerous lie. Energy is not your master. Emotion is not your guide. Impulse is not your friend. If you chase energy, you will lose. If you react to highs and lows, you will fail. Because impulsive people live in the highs and lows of life. They ride the emotional roller coaster. They get hyped when things go well. They crash when things go wrong. And here's the truth. You can't win if you can't stay steady. Say it again. Say it slowly. Say it like you mean it. You can't win if you can't stay steady. Every time you let your mood dictate your actions, you are handing your power to someone or something else. Your joy, your anger, your excitement, your frustration, your fear. Impulsive people are ruled by these forces. Street-smart, long-term thinkers are ruled by intention. And intention is calm, controlled, neutral. That's what we call emotional neutrality, the ability to maintain steady focus and clear thinking regardless of the highs or lows happening around you. The dangers of chasing energy. Here's what impulsive energy looks like in real life. You feel hyped after a small win at work. You make a risky decision because you think you're unstoppable. You overcommit. You overreact. You overspend. You overpromise. Or the opposite. You feel defeated after a minor setback. You abandon plans. You lash out. You panic. You quit. All because you chased energy. All because you reacted to mood swings. All because you didn't control your internal state. Energy is a momentary signal, not a roadmap. Chasing it is chasing illusion. And illusions don't build lasting results. Remember, highs feel good, but they're temporary. Lows feel terrible, but they're temporary. Your ability to navigate both, that's permanent. You can't win if you can't stay steady. Why steadiness wins? Steadiness is a competitive advantage in a world full of chaos. When others overreact to stress, you stay calm. When others celebrate prematurely, you stay focused. When others panic under pressure, you execute. When others get emotional, you observe. Neutrality is strength. Neutrality is power. Neutrality lets you make the best decisions every single time. Smart people understand this. Smart people don't feed emotional swings. Smart people control their own energy. And controlling your energy doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It doesn't mean being robotic. It means choosing your responses instead of being ruled by your reactions. Building emotional neutrality. Here's how you start training yourself today. Step 1. Notice the highs and lows. Pay attention to moments when your energy spikes or crashes. Acknowledge them without acting. Say, "This is a signal, not a command." Step 2. Pause before acting. Insert a deliberate delay between feeling and responding. Even 3 seconds changes your trajectory. Even 10 seconds can stop an impulsive decision that would cost you weeks or months of progress. Step 3. Anchor yourself in process, not emotion. Focus on what you must do, not how you feel doing it. The task doesn't care about your excitement or fear. Your results don't care about mood swings. They only care about consistent, steady action. Step 4. Practice observation in real time. Notice how people around you react to highs and lows. Notice your own reactions without judgment. Train your mind to see energy as information, not instruction. When you do this, you start living above the emotional chaos. You become calm in storms. You become deliberate in chaos. You become unshakable while others crumble. Real-world examples. 1. Career decisions. An employee gets a glowing performance review. They feel invincible. They invest in risky ventures with company resources. They burn bridges because they feel untouchable. Another employee gets a mediocre review. They feel worthless. They quit, complain, or sabotage relationships. The street-smart version? They stay steady. They analyze the feedback. They plan their next steps. They execute without reaction. They win while others fall. 2. Relationships. Someone gets a compliment and becomes overconfident, overcommitting, overinvesting in someone who doesn't match their long-term interests. Someone gets criticized and reacts defensively, escalating conflict unnecessarily. The street-smart version? Neutrality. They listen, process, and act with intention. They protect their energy and their long-term outcomes. 3. Business. A market spikes. Investors panic in both directions, buying too much, selling too soon. The street-smart investor doesn't chase hype or fear. They stay steady, study the data, and execute strategy, not emotion. The results speak for themselves. Steadiness outperforms reaction every single time. Repeat this to yourself. You can't win if you can't stay steady. You can't win if you can't stay steady. You can't win if you can't stay steady. Let it echo. Let it sink into your identity. When chaos surrounds you, stay calm. When excitement tempts you, stay disciplined. When fear wants to push you, stay grounded. Steadiness is not passive. Steadiness is active control. Steadiness is your superpower in a reactive world. Controlling energy is a skill. Controlling energy is freedom. Controlling energy allows you to think clearly, act intentionally, and dominate situations where impulsive people lose. And once you master this skill, you'll be ready to confront the most dangerous trap of all: chasing validation and letting it control your decisions. That's what comes next. Chapter 6. The Trap of Short-Term Validation. Most people live their lives chasing approval, chasing likes, chasing compliments, chasing recognition, chasing validation from the world instead of building it from within. And this is one of the deadliest habits you can have if you want long-term success. Seeking approval triggers impulsive behavior. It weakens your decision-making. It keeps you trapped in the present moment, addicted to emotional highs and lows. Approval is a drug, and if you don't break the cycle, it will control your life. Let's make this clear. Short-term validation is a trap disguised as progress. You think the likes, the praise, the recognition will give you strength, but they only give you temporary relief, temporary energy, temporary pride, temporary comfort. Meanwhile, your long-term goals, your strategy, your future, they get weaker. They get delayed. They get compromised. And the pattern repeats. Social media, the daily example. Social media is the ultimate trap for validation. You post something. You check for likes. You refresh the page. You chase attention. You compare yourself to everyone else. And here's the problem. Every post, every reaction, every scroll is an emotional hit that encourages impulsive behavior. Your brain gets trained to seek approval instead of results. You start acting to impress others rather than to improve yourself. You measure your value by notifications instead of your progress. And the truth is simple: the approval doesn't matter. Your future self doesn't care if 50 people liked your post. Your future self cares if you built discipline, skill, and control today. Approval is a drug, and you are addicted. Relationships, the high cost of proving yourself. The same principle applies to relationships. Many people overextend themselves to please others. They say yes when they should say no. They give energy, time, and respect to people who don't reciprocate. They react emotionally to criticism instead of responding strategically. Why? Because they want validation. They want to feel accepted. They want to feel loved. But here's the painful truth. Seeking approval in relationships creates weakness. When you're always proving yourself, you stop prioritizing your own goals. When you're always seeking validation, you stop controlling your impulses. When you're always proving your worth, you stop building real value. Approval is a drug, and the relationship costs are higher than you realize. Workplace, the silent sapper. At work, short-term validation is everywhere. Employees chase praise from their boss. They take credit for work that isn't theirs. They react emotionally to feedback instead of thinking strategically. They overcommit to impress. They compromise long-term objectives to look good in the moment, and it always backfires. Smart, streetwise people know this. Focus on results, not applause. Your value is not measured by recognition. Your power is not measured by approval. Your success is measured by discipline, execution, and consistency. Approval is a drug, and like all drugs, it clouds judgment. It hijacks impulse control. It makes you short-sighted. The mechanics of the trap. Here's how the cycle works. You feel uncertain or insecure. That uncertainty triggers a need for immediate approval. You act impulsively to get validation. You post, you speak, you overcommit, you overreact. You get a short-term emotional hit. You feel liked, praised, accepted, momentarily. You repeat the behavior because your brain wants the next hit. Your long-term goals weaken because each impulsive action pulls energy, time, and focus away from your real objectives. That's the trap. Approval is a drug, and you have to quit chasing it to regain control. Breaking the cycle. Breaking the trap of short-term validation is simple but not easy. Step 1. Notice it. Whenever you feel the urge to seek approval, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this for me or for them? Step 2. Delay the reaction. Give yourself 10 seconds, 30 seconds, even a minute. The longer you pause, the less power the validation has over you. Step 3. Anchor your identity internally. Your self-worth is not external. Your value is not defined by likes, praise, or recognition. It is defined by discipline, results, and integrity. Step 4. Replace the habit with action. Instead of reacting for applause, act for progress. Instead of proving yourself, improve yourself. Instead of chasing emotional highs, build skill, focus, and consistency. Each action you take for your own growth strengthens your internal validation. Each time you refuse to chase approval, you reclaim power from your impulses. Real-world examples of breaking the cycle. 1. Social media detox. A young professional stopped checking social media during work hours. No likes, no comments, no external praise. Instead, they focused on completing tasks, learning new skills, and building their craft. The result? Productivity skyrocketed. Influence grew naturally. Confidence became internal, not dependent on notifications. 2. Relationship boundaries. A person learned to say no when they were overcommitting to please friends. They stopped seeking constant reassurance and instead built routines for personal growth. Result? Respect increased, friendship strengthened, and emotional energy stabilized. 3. Workplace impact. An employee stopped overreacting to praise or criticism. They focused on delivering measurable results, not winning approval from peers or supervisors. Result? Promotions came naturally, influence grew, and stress diminished. The pattern is always the same. Approval is a drug. Breaking free builds power. Breaking free builds control. Breaking free builds long-term success. Let's repeat it because repetition embeds truth. Approval is a drug. Approval is a drug. Approval is a drug. You don't need it. You don't deserve to be controlled by it. You have a choice. Choose discipline over impulse. Choose long-term gain over short-term praise. Choose self-respect over validation. Break the cycle. And when you do, you gain freedom. The freedom to act intentionally, the freedom to control your energy, the freedom to build your life without being pulled by external forces. Your impulses crave applause. Your long-term self craves results. Which side are you going to feed? The choice is yours. The choice always has been. And now you know the trap. Next, we're going to turn that understanding into action. We'll build the next layer of your street-smart discipline. Chapter 7. Move quietly, decide loudly. Most people live their lives reacting publicly. They speak before they think. They show before they plan. They prove before they improve. And it costs them everything. Talking too much, revealing your intentions, or reacting to every situation publicly is the fastest way to destroy long-term momentum. Every impulsive word you speak is a distraction from your real goal. Every reaction you broadcast is a signal that you're following your emotions instead of your strategy. Street-smart people understand one truth. Planning quietly allows you to think, while reacting publicly forces you to prove instead of improve. Say it slowly. Say it like you mean it. Planning quietly allows you to think, while reacting publicly forces you to prove instead of improve. That is the dividing line between impulsive actors and strategic performers. This chapter is about learning how to move quietly and decide loudly. It's about building this silent prep, loud execution framework, a system that ensures your energy is spent on results, not spectacle. The danger of impulsive talk. Most people think sharing their plans, ideas, or reactions will help. It doesn't. When you speak impulsively, you waste mental energy proving your point. You waste emotional energy defending your choices. You waste social energy managing the reactions you triggered. All of that energy could have gone to preparation, strategy, and execution. Instead, it goes to noise. Noise kills momentum. Noise kills influence. Noise kills results. Let me be clear. Impulsive talk destroys long-term momentum. It's a trap most people fall into without realizing it. They feel like they're contributing. They feel like they're making an impact. But in reality, they're giving away control of their own future. The power of silent preparation. Now, contrast that with silent preparation. Silent preparation is observing, analyzing, and planning without revealing anything prematurely. When you move quietly, you gather information without interference. Build strategy without distraction. Strengthen your skills without ego exposure. It's like sharpening a sword in secret before stepping onto the battlefield. By the time you act, your execution is clean, deliberate, and overwhelming. This is the foundation of street-smart thinking. Silent prep maximizes leverage, loud execution maximizes impact. The silent prep, loud execution framework. Let's break it down into actionable steps. Step 1. Observe before speaking. Every room, every conversation, every situation has a rhythm. Most people talk too fast. They expose their intentions. They give their opponents or competitors insight into their strategy. Instead, pause. Watch. Listen. Learn. Gather the data silently without reacting immediately. Step 2. Plan quietly. Use your observation to plan your actions. Map out your moves. Consider every outcome. Evaluate the consequences before you speak, post, or act. Do not broadcast your preparation. The world doesn't need to see it. Your results will speak louder than your words. Step 3. Execute loudly. After careful observation and planning, act decisively. Your execution is clear, impactful, and undeniable. The moment of action is when your influence is revealed. The energy spent proves nothing. It accomplishes everything. This is the power of silent prep paired with loud execution. Think quietly. Act decisively. Win visibly. Real-world examples. 1. Business negotiations. An impulsive negotiator reveals their bottom line too early. They argue, they justify, they react to the other party's emotional triggers. They lose leverage. They lose respect. They lose opportunity. A street-smart negotiator observes quietly. They ask questions. They listen carefully. They understand the environment, the players, and the incentives. Then they make a decisive offer that leaves the room shocked and impressed. Silent prep. Loud execution. Results, not drama. 2. Social influence. Most people broadcast opinions, ideas, or intentions to get attention or approval. They feel important because people react to them. But influence built on impulsive talk is fragile. Someone who moves quietly studies the group. They learn the personalities, the energy, and the dynamics. They intervene strategically. They speak once with precision. Their words carry weight. They command attention. They leave impact. Silent prep. Loud execution. Influence, not noise. 3. Personal growth. Many people announce goals or plans publicly to motivate themselves. Watch me get fit. Watch me start a business. Watch me change my life. They seek validation and praise before putting in the work. Street-smart individuals start privately. They train quietly, build skill quietly, develop systems quietly. By the time others notice, the results are undeniable. Action replaces talk. Discipline replaces approval. Silent prep. Loud execution. Transformation, not showmanship. The psychology behind it. Why does this work? Because humans are wired to react to signals. When you reveal your plans or react publicly, you signal your intentions to the world, including competitors, critics, and opportunists. They can manipulate you, counter you, or pressure you. When you move quietly, you control the narrative. You control perception. You control energy. You control outcome. Street-smart thinkers understand, the loudest people rarely have the most control. The ones who truly win, they prepare silently. They observe patiently. They act decisively. And that is exactly what you're training yourself to do. Practical habits to implement. Limit public declarations. Don't announce your goals, plans, or next moves to everyone. Keep them close. Let results make the statement. Pause before commenting, before reacting on social media, in emails, or in conversations. Pause. Think. Decide if your response serves your long-term goals. Track your progress privately. Journals, spreadsheets, or logs for skill building, business, or personal goals should be for your eyes only. Silent work builds momentum, not applause. Plan execution windows. Decide when and how to act. Timing is everything. A loud, decisive execution after quiet prep carries more weight than continuous chatter. Key takeaways. Impulsive talk is energy wasted. Public reaction is proof-seeking, not improvement. Silent prep builds clarity, strategy, and leverage. Loud execution delivers results, influence, and impact. Remember, impulsive talk destroys long-term momentum. The less you react publicly, the more you control your life. Street-smart thinking is not about being loud. It's about being deliberate. It's about controlling energy, timing, and focus. Silent prep. Loud execution. Repeat it. Live it. Make it your default mode. You've learned to move quietly and decide loudly. You've learned that strategy beats reaction. You've learned that your words, when unchecked, can betray your long-term goals. Next, we're going to take this skill further, because mastery is not just about external control. It's about choosing the harder path when everyone else seeks comfort. Chapter 8. Master the art of choosing the harder thing. Life is designed to tempt you with the easy choice, the comfortable choice, the convenient choice, and most people take it. Every time. They scroll instead of study. They react instead of plan. They indulge instead of delay. And here's the truth you need to burn into your mind. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. Say it again. Slowly. Let it sink in. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. This is the cornerstone of long-term thinking. Street-smart thinkers understand that every moment of discomfort is an investment. Every sacrifice today compounds into massive results tomorrow. This chapter is about training your mind to consistently choose the harder path. The path that builds leverage, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. The principle of discomfort. Hard decisions are never popular. They are never easy. They are never immediately gratifying. But comfort is a trap. Easy choices create temporary relief but long-term debt. Consider it like this. Every shortcut comes with a price tag you can't see right now. Every indulgence has interest. Every avoidance carries hidden costs. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. Repeat it. Let it resonate. Let it guide your actions. Examples of choosing the harder path. 1. Health and fitness. Skipping the gym feels easy today. Eating fast food feels convenient now. But every skipped workout and every poor meal adds up. Years later, the body, energy, and confidence you could have had are gone. The street-smart approach? Show up when it's inconvenient. Eat the nutrient-dense meal when cravings scream. Train your discipline, not your comfort. The payoff? A strong, healthy body. Increased energy. Confidence that compounds. Lifetime freedom from avoidable health problems. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. 2. Finances. Most people spend impulsively. Buy what feels good. Chase temporary thrills. The harder choice is saving, investing, and delaying gratification. It's uncomfortable to say no to a night out. It's uncomfortable to watch your money sit in the account instead of being spent. But that discomfort compounds. Months turn into years. Savings turn into wealth. Delayed gratification turns into freedom. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. Every time you spend impulsively, you're paying for comfort twice. Once today, once tomorrow in lost opportunities. 3. Career and skills. Learning new skills is difficult. Early mornings, late nights, rejection, feedback. It's all hard work. The easy choice? Stop learning. Stay comfortable. Maintain the status quo. But the hard choice builds leverage. The hard choice creates opportunities. The hard choice turns average performance into mastery. 10 years from now, the person who chooses discomfort will be 10 times further ahead than the person who chooses ease. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. The compound effect of hard choices. Here's what people don't realize. Small, hard choices compound like interest. 1 extra hour of deliberate practice builds skill faster than 5 hours of casual effort. 1 tough conversation at work builds respect and influence faster than avoiding conflict. 1 disciplined financial decision today builds freedom tenfold tomorrow. And the world rewards those who consistently take the hard path. Comfort seekers get trapped in the loop of temporary relief. Discomfort seekers accumulate results, credibility, and control. Every decision is either an investment or a debt. Choose wisely. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. How to train yourself to choose hard. Identify the long-term payoff when faced with a choice. Ask yourself, which option will benefit me most in 5 years? 10 years? Hard choices often look painful today but carry exponential benefits tomorrow. Break it into micro steps. You don't have to conquer the impossible all at once. Small, deliberate actions toward discomfort create consistency. 1 extra page of study. 1 additional set at the gym. 1 savings decision. 1 honest conversation. Anchor your identity in discipline, not comfort. The person who chooses the hard path becomes the person who succeeds naturally. If you identify as someone who prioritizes long-term results over short-term comfort, the hard choice becomes your default mode. Reinforce with repetition. Every time you choose the harder path, repeat the mantra, if it's easy now, it's expensive later. Let it guide your impulses. Let it silence your cravings. Let it create momentum. Real-life applications. 1. Entrepreneurs building a business is hard. Sacrificing free time. Facing rejection. Managing uncertainty. The easy path? Quit. Find comfort. Settle for a salary. The hard path. Keep building, learning, and executing even when the work feels unbearable. Years later, the entrepreneur who endured discomfort has assets, leverage, and freedom the comfort seeker could only dream of. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. 2. Relationships short-term convenience. Avoid difficult conversations. Ignore toxic patterns. Stay in comfort. Hard path. Address conflict, set boundaries, choose people who challenge and elevate you. The payoff, stronger, more meaningful, and long-lasting connections. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. 3. Personal growth. Reading, reflecting, self-discipline, and delayed gratification feel uncomfortable in the moment. The easy choice, distraction, entertainment, avoidance. The hard path, invest in your mind, skill set, and habits consistently. The payoff is exponential, knowledge, resilience, and influence that multiply over time. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. The mindset shift. Here's the core mindset you must internalize. Comfort is temporary. Discomfort is investment. Easy choices are expensive. Hard choices pay off exponentially. The street-smart thinker doesn't ask, what feels good now? They ask, what builds leverage, freedom, and resilience for the future? Every moment of pain today is compounded strength tomorrow. Every choice to endure discomfort builds momentum. Every time you act against your impulses, you take power back. If it's easy now, it's expensive later. Repeat it. Anchor it. Live it. Mastering the art of choosing the harder thing is about building resilience, foresight, and leverage. It's about rewiring your mind to prioritize long-term gain over short-term comfort. And once you've internalized this, you're ready to tackle the final, critical skill, turning patience and discipline into unstoppable momentum. Chapter 9. Protect your attention like your life depends on it. Attention is everything. It's the foundation of every decision you make. It's the gateway to every goal, every outcome, every success you will ever have. And here's the harsh truth. Most people squander it. They let notifications, social media, gossip, unnecessary meetings, and chaos hijack their focus. They react to every ping, alert, and emotional distraction. And when your attention is scattered, impulsiveness thrives. Your impulses take over. Your long-term goals suffer. Your future pays the price. Your attention is the gateway to your future. Guard it. Say it again. Say it slowly. Your attention is the gateway to your future. Guard it. This chapter is about learning how to protect your attention like your life depends on it, and for your long-term self, it does. Why attention is power. Look at the world around you. Everything is designed to steal your focus. Your phone buzzes. Notifications pop. Alerts scream. Ads seduce. People demand your emotional energy. The impulsive person jumps at every signal. The street-smart thinker pauses, evaluates, and chooses where to direct focus. Why? Because attention determines outcomes. The more you protect it, the more you control your life. The less you protect it, the more your impulses decide for you. Every moment spent distracted is a moment you give away. Every impulse indulged is a step away from mastery. Your attention is the gateway to your future. Guard it. The environmental triggers of impulse. Impulsiveness grows in environments full of noise and constant stimulation. It's not just your brain, it's your surroundings. Endless notifications that demand instant reaction. Social media that rewards emotional highs and validation seeking. Chaotic workspaces with constant interruptions. Friends or colleagues who push for immediate responses. Personal habits that scatter your focus. Multitasking, binge-watching, or reacting emotionally to every text or email. Every trigger weakens your ability to pause, think, and act strategically. Every trigger strengthens the autopilot mode. React first, think later. And the result? Poor decisions. Missed opportunities. Short-term gains at the expense of long-term success. Street-smart thinkers know this. They design environments to protect their attention. They remove triggers before they ever have a chance to hijack the mind. The attention audit. Here's your weapon, the attention audit. A practical, repeatable framework to cut the top 5 triggers of impulsive decisions. Step 1. Identify your top 5 triggers. What distracts you most? Notifications? Social media? Email chains? News cycles? Negative people? List the 5 biggest attention thieves in your life. Step 2. Remove or limit them. Turn off alerts. Silence notifications. Block websites during focus hours. Create no interruption periods. The less noise, the stronger your self-control becomes. Step 3. Replace with strategic focus. Fill the void left by removed distractions with intentional activity. Read, write, plan, exercise. Execute on high-leverage tasks. Step 4. Monitor and adjust. Track your focus daily. Note when impulses rise. Audit again if necessary. Attention is a skill. It grows with training and protection. Real-world examples. 1. Social media detox. A professional spends hours scrolling mindlessly, reacting to every post. Productivity collapses. Impulsive purchases rise. Emotional swings dominate decision-making. They perform an attention audit. Limit social media to 30 minutes a day, turn off notifications, and allocate time for strategic reading and planning. Result? Fewer impulsive actions, more consistent focus, and measurable progress toward long-term goals. 2. Work environment. An entrepreneur is constantly interrupted by email, calls, and team messages. Each interruption triggers reactive decision-making. Projects stall, mistakes increase. They implement focus blocks. 90-minute periods with no interruptions, phone on silent, email unopened. Result? Higher quality decisions, reduced impulsiveness, and exponential progress on high-priority tasks. 3. Personal relationships. Someone lets every emotional text or call dictate their mood and decisions. They react to drama instead of strategy. After an attention audit, they establish boundaries. No responding immediately to emotionally charged messages, scheduling deliberate time for difficult conversations. Result? Less stress, fewer impulsive arguments, more control over outcomes. The mindset shift. Here's the principle you must adopt. Attention is your most valuable asset. You can always make more money. You can always rebuild relationships. You can always retrain habits. But you cannot create more attention. Each lost moment of focus is gone forever. Impulsiveness thrives when attention is scattered. Discipline grows when attention is protected. Street-smart thinkers don't rely on willpower alone. They design their environment to protect their focus. Your brain will always seek the path of least resistance. If the path is full of distractions, your impulses win. If the path is clear, your discipline and long-term goals win. Your attention is the gateway to your future. Guard it. Practical strategies. Digital boundaries: use apps or features to limit screen time. Remove notifications. Avoid multitasking. Environmental design: organize your workspace for focus. Remove clutter. Reduce noise. Create a dedicated zone for strategic thinking. Time blocking: schedule focus blocks for deep work. Guard these periods like a fortress. Intentional media consumption: curate news, social media, and content intentionally. Avoid reactive consumption. Ask, does this serve my long-term goals? Regular reflection: end your day with a quick audit. What distracted you? What triggered impulsive behavior? Adjust your environment accordingly. Key takeaways. Distraction fuels impulsiveness. Impulsiveness kills momentum and long-term results. Attention is finite and irreplaceable. Protect it like your life depends on it. Repeat and internalize. Your attention is the gateway to your future. Guard it. Your attention is the gateway to your future. Guard it. Every action you take is either a guard on your focus or a gift to your impulses. Choose wisely. You've learned how to protect your most valuable asset, attention. You've learned how to audit, remove triggers, and focus on what truly matters. Next, we'll combine all the skills you've mastered so far: pause, observation, energy control, silent prep, long-term choices, and protected attention, into a system of unstoppable momentum. Chapter 10. Make long-term thinking your identity. Everything you've learned in this audiobook, pausing before action, reading the game, controlling energy, refusing short-term validation, moving quietly, choosing the hard path, protecting attention, means nothing if it doesn't become part of who you are. Knowledge without identity is forgotten. Habits without identity are abandoned. Discipline without identity is temporary. If you want lasting transformation, you must become the type of person who naturally resists impulsive behavior. Not for a week, not for a month, not when convenient. Every single day, in every decision. Your identity drives behavior. Your habits follow your self-perception. And your long-term success depends on making long-term thinking who you are, not just what you do. The power of identity. Here's the principle: actions follow identity, not the other way around. Most people focus on what to do. I will wake up early. I will exercise. I will save money. But when motivation fades or life gets messy, those actions collapse. Street-smart thinkers focus on who they are. I am disciplined. I am patient. I am a person who chooses long-term gain over short-term relief. When your identity aligns with your goals, impulsiveness loses power. Your habits no longer require motivation. They become automatic. Your decisions no longer require struggle. They flow naturally from who you are. Rewriting your self-perception. Here's how to embed long-term thinking into your identity. 1. Use identity statements. Repeat phrases that define who you are. I am a person who pauses before reacting. I am a person who observes before acting. I am a person who chooses the harder path. I am disciplined. I am patient. I am street smart. Say them daily. Say them in the mirror. Say them before making decisions. These statements reshape the mental pathways that drive behavior. 2. Link decisions to identity. Every decision is a vote for who you are. When you act impulsively, you vote for the old version of yourself. When you act with discipline, you vote for the new long-term thinking version. Your identity is not just an idea, it is the sum of your consistent choices. Your decisions reinforce it. Your impulses cannot define it. Your impulses don't define you. Your decisions do. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let it guide every action. The habit loop of identity. Street-smart people don't rely on willpower alone. They design a feedback loop that strengthens identity through repeated action. Pause before reacting. Observe the situation. Choose the hard, long-term option. Execute silently but decisively. Reinforce your identity with the thought, "This is who I am." Each cycle makes long-term thinking automatic. Each decision reprograms your brain to align with your goals. Each action turns discipline into instinct. Over time, you no longer fight impulses. They simply don't align with who you've become. Real-world examples. 1. Health. The person who identifies as disciplined doesn't ask, "Do I feel like working out today?" They say, "I am the type of person who trains, no excuses." And they act accordingly even when motivation is gone. 2. Finance. The person who identifies as financially responsible doesn't splurge impulsively. They say, "I am the type of person who invests, not spends recklessly." Their savings and investments grow automatically because identity dictates action. 3. Career. The person who identifies as a high performer doesn't chase immediate praise. They focus on mastery and impact. They say, "I am the type of person who executes with strategy, not reaction." Promotion, respect, and influence follow naturally. Reinforcing identity through repetition. Repetition is your secret weapon. The brain rewires through repeated statements and actions. Daily reminders. I am long-term focused. I am patient under pressure. I am the type of person who chooses growth over comfort. Anchor your identity in decision-making, not impulses. Anchor it in results, not validation. Anchor it in long-term thinking, not short-term relief. Your impulses don't define you. Your decisions do. Repeat it. Repeat it again. Let it become a core truth. Let it drive your actions. The final mindset shift. From this moment forward, think of yourself this way. You are not a slave to emotion. You are not a reactionary. You are not someone who gives in to distraction, approval, or comfort. You are disciplined. You are patient. You are street smart. You are a long-term thinker. Every choice you make reinforces this identity. Every act of delayed gratification strengthens it. Every moment of quiet observation and strategic execution cements it. Your identity and your decisions are now inseparable. Your impulses are no longer the master. They are signals to be observed, controlled, and overridden. Your imperative. Internalize this. Pause before reacting. Observe the game. Control your energy. Refuse short-term validation. Move quietly. Choose the hard path. Protect your attention. Let every decision vote for the person you are becoming. And repeat this truth daily. Your impulses don't define you. Your decisions do. Let it guide your life. Let it shape your identity. Let it define the way you operate in every situation, every day, forever. When you live like this, success is no longer a goal, it becomes your natural state. Discipline becomes instinct. Long-term thinking becomes automatic. And momentum becomes unstoppable. This is the final layer of street-smart transformation. This is the mindset that makes all the strategies in this audiobook stick. This is who you are now. You've learned the skills. You've practiced the habits. You've understood the strategies. Now it's time to live them as part of your identity. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you want to be. Every impulse you resist is proof of your new self. Remember this, repeat it, and let it echo in every action. Your impulses don't define you. Your decisions do. You are no longer reactive. You are deliberate. You are no longer distracted. You are focused. You are no longer short-term. You are long-term. And from this moment forward, you move through life as someone who naturally wins, naturally builds, and naturally dominates because you've become the type of person who does what others can't. Your journey doesn't end here, it only accelerates. Your momentum is unstoppable. Your life is yours to design. Your impulses don't define you. Your decisions do. If you want more strategies to outsmart your impulses, build unshakable discipline, and take control of your life, hit that subscribe button now. Don't wait. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today.